second half of Kiss Community Connections, 103.1 Kiss FM. Phyllis Jones, still your host. And you know what? We still got our new family here all together. And we've been talking, naturally. And what we have been doing is still growing closer together. But Brother Robert Muhammad, he lives in Austin. And he did not know that there is a Liberian Association in Austin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so will you be able to give Minister Muhammad the contact information?
Sure will. I will.
So,
well, I just wanted to say this. I just wanted to apologize for us not getting involved earlier because we got a lot of good people in our association that can really help with this squash the beat stuff.
Right,
we got a lot. We got professor at CTC. We got state troopers. They're all Liberians here and willing to get involved in the community. So, but we just been, keeping it in a small stage. Yeah. So right now, we'll be happy and we're willing to get involved with everything that coming on just for the city to keep Killeen safe.
See, that's what a family does. That's what a family does. A family answers the call. And don't apologize for being too late because this was all just the right time. Because Sadie, like I said, I said her name, she's my co-worker. And she invited me to your event. And like I said, when I was at your event, I looked all around. I'm like, we have been missing everybody. And I said, we've been missing you and you've been missing us. And, I said, we're not going to do this no more. I have a bad habit of telling people things instead of asking them. I really do. Because I assume if it's something we need to do, we just need to go and do it. And I'll let you know we can't do this no more. Your Independence event, we should have been there celebrating with you with the Independence Day. We should have been there. Yes. But that's okay because next year we'll be there, to sharing it. Because if you have an independence celebration, then we need to help with your independent celebration. And we need to celebrate with you and learn more because we're never too old to learn. And the more we learn, the better and the stronger we are. So it's not that apology for being late. We came at the right time because things are hot. We're all people of color, whether we like it or not. And no matter where we were born at, our skin brings us together as one. Our skin color brings us together as one. Yep. So I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that Robert Muhammad's here. I'm glad that Darryl's here. And I'm glad that we're all here because when we leave here, we have some new marching orders. Our new marching orders are we have to stay and connect. Whatever one is doing, we're all doing. But I have to ask Brother Robert Muhammad and Darryl this one question. I know he's looking at me like, oh my God. I need to know, and I guess I need to ask my own side of the world that too. But whenever you talk about the 10,000 fearless men and women, I see more women than men.
Yes.
So where are the 10,000 fearless men? Because women, we'll step up to the plate, and we'll take over if let. And when we take over,
absolutely right.
We won't give it back.
That spirit is a part of the reason why we're here, sitting and talking with you right now. You're the only sister in the room, but you seem to have control of everything. So there are questions and all. But part of the reason we're doing this is because our community, the condition that our community is in. Mm-hmm. We just mentioned a family. You just mentioned a family where a young man was killed, and his father is incarcerated. Right. His two other brothers are on their way to either being incarcerated or killed.
Yes.
But the mother is languishing, and she's obviously suffering from some mental anguish of having her family in that condition. And then you have the daughter that's contemplating suicide.
Right.
So this is our women have always been empowered in America after a certain particular time period. And so, it's not very easy to separate a mother from her offspring. You over the years, you've seen women attack bears, to get their children back. There is a special condition that men have in our community, and it was a scientific, psychological design. And I'll just share one thing with you. We were at our little mosque one time in Austin, and we came out, and there was a bunch of police activity, and there was a brother that had been maced by the police, and there were about 20 or 30 sisters like going at the officer. I mean, literally people were holding them back, but the guy's best friend and a couple of their associates were standing behind the crowd. Right. You know, and it seemed like they were hiding to me. But what we've been teaching our males in this society is to preserve themselves, to be dependent and not independent. And so this is why if you go onto Facebook and you look at certain videos, you see sisters standing up to the police. You see sisters like Sandra Bland and like the sister in Minnesota. You see sisters standing up and speaking their minds, but you don't see a lot of brothers doing this. But we send the subliminal or the outright message that if you stand up for yourself, you will be murdered in America. And so what we are witnessing is the byproduct of the Willie Lynch Manifesto and other things being carried out in 2016. And so our charge is we had a rally. It was the night that the police were shot in Dallas. They had a rally in Austin at Givens Park. There's about 1,500 people out there. And as the people I was scheduled to be the last speaker. And prior to me coming up there, people were saying, we don't want to hear that. What we going to do? We don't want to hear that. And they were just crashing the whole demonstration. And so when I got up there, I talked about the law of retaliation because people don't want to hear kumbaya and holding hands and we're being gunned down. The police chief happened to be on the site that day. He left because he got word that some officers got gunned down. But we mentioned the 10,000 Fearless conflict resolution program. And when I tell you that there was a line that disrupted, they couldn't really do anything after that because we signed up nearly 200 people that night, and people had ripped off boxes, cardboard boxes, and because there weren't enough clipboards and sheets to go around, and they started signing up for them. But about 60 to 70% of them was what? Females. Women. So one of the things that I'm doing in Austin, and we're going to do our best to mirror here in Killeen, is I'm specifically targeting males. Right. So we're going to have a male summit in about 2 weeks in Austin to deal specifically with the street community, the gangs, the hustlers, the OGs, and we're dealing specifically with men. Then we're going to have in accordance with the Austin Justice Coalition, we're having a male summit in October to deal with the college educated demographic. Then we're having a summit with the hip hop community. Then we're going to have a summit with the clergy. Right. And our whole goal is to get more men to take our position so that our women can finally take a seat and enjoy their life and see their children flourish and not be afraid to go out and they're not afraid anyway. But you know, so it won't just be them telling the young men to pull up their pants, but we can pull up the minds of those young men and their pants will follow. So it's a condition that we happen to be in at this particular dispensation of time, and we have to go to war with that condition. We can't just say, oh, it exists. Our men are being incarcerated. They're being murdered. They're on drugs. They're out of the home. No, we have to go to war with those conditions and correct those conditions. And so, but I'm like you. I mean, where the brother, and I always say that, where the men, I can't accept the fact that our men are not present and that our sisters are present because, and I just be honest with you, a lot of the men are fearful that we fear not only death, we fear success. Yes. We fear having to answer for our shortcomings and our wrongdoings, and we have not been taught to, we haven't been taught to deal with our issues. We've been taught to go around them and to avoid conflict and those type of things. So we haven't been taught these things in this society. Right. So this is why it's good to engage with our brothers and sisters who are under the umbrella of the immigrant population, because we can learn some things that they have not been trained to be kind of like us. Every immigrant population, they come, and initially, like the scripture, Jesus is telling the disciples, go ye not unto the Gentiles, go ye not unto the Samaritans. But then there's a particular time period where he tells them to go ye out unto the entire world. So immigrant populations, they come and they among themselves, and as their people integrate, they show them their norms, but they still keep their culture intact. And so there's a lot, when we talk about the connection of enslaved Africans here in America and Liberia, even Sierra Leone and some of those countries on the west coast of Africa, there are some cultural norms that we need to be re-engaged with, because when you look at us, people talk about it's a financial issue, and we had this conversation before, but when you go back to the Dave Chappelle show, he put it in a comedic way. We got reparations, and Cash was buying Newport businesses, Newport cigarette businesses, and Cadillac lots and dealerships and whatnot. But that speaks to the condition of the mind of black men reared and raised for generations in America. And so there is a condition that we need to have a conversation about, but most of all, we need to combat, and we need to go to war with it. And stop allowing men to be afraid. And so we need the modern Harriet Tubmans like yourself and saying, no, you're going free, or you're going to die standing here. So you're not going back. So
but
I hope that 10-minute sermon answered the question.
It was good. We needed it. But I went to a workshop a long time ago, and I was the only one that looked like me there. I like those kind of workshops too, anyway, because I love those kind of workshops. Yes, because I get to learn and teach. But at the workshop, it was a guy, man, he was talking about communities, Robert's rules, and how things go. And I think he forgot that I was there for a brief time. So for a whole span of time, he forgot I was there, and I was enjoying the conversation, because this is what he said. He said at a board meeting, he was talking about African Americans and whites, or Anglos, or whatever you want to call it. But he was talking about us. And he said at a meeting, black women, he said, if we're upset, we don't show it. He said, you never know. We're sitting there writing on pieces of paper. He said, we don't show it on our face. We don't show it in our bodies. We just don't show. He said, so they have no idea whether they've upset us, whether we agree with you. They said, because you can't read our faces. They said, because we just seemingly don't change a beat. He said, so we look like we're filling out our grocery list or whatever. He said, but a black man, he said, when they say something agitate him, raises his shoulders up, he sits up a little bit, makes some body adjustments, and his face change. He said, so black men are easy to read. When something is said to get under your skin. And he ended that conversation because he was looking, and there I was sitting there going, hi. But I in turn went to a couple of meetings, and I sat back and watched, and he was right. So our men need to work on that, because when I'm sitting there, I'm like, really? And someone said something, and a couple of men got kind of bent out of shape there, and the little shoulders moved, and everything changed. Uh-oh, he's something.
You gotta brace it. You gotta embrace it. Hey.
But he was just saying that, that was from their perspective, and I said they were all white at the meeting. I was the only one there. But when he said that, I sat back and I thought about it. So I said, well, I got to go see this, because I've never paid attention. So I went to a couple of meetings, and I'm watching the women. And the one lady, I knew she was upset because I know her, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But the men, every body language, the whole body changed, where, that your thing with him was just, don't say it. To the men, you were saying, don't say it. Just don't say it. To the women, you're like, I don't know, but don't say it. So I don't know how to fix that, how you all can repair that. I don't know, but can you all adjust it or something?
Hey, study it. Just going into motion. They're going into motion.
Because Brother Robert, he goes,
I mean, I was a part of a panel discussion last Saturday with the mayor, the police chief, the NAACP president in Austin, council person, the assistant city manager, and the discussion was about, of course, then what's going on everywhere now, right. Police and community relations. And I'm 43 years old, and I said that a friend of mine was in the audience, and he texted me. He said, man, why are your eyes bloodshot? And he said, why? He said, you look. He sent me a picture of some animal with squinted eyes. He said, "This is how you look right now." And you know, I used that to make a comment that I was angry, and it was obvious that I was angry.
Right.
And I said, because I'm 43 years old. It's 2016, and we're having the same conversation that the city officials, national officials, were having with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he was 33. I said, so, and I've been doing this thing for 26 years now, since I was in high school. And so to have the same type of conversation and to be hearing the same excuses, you know,
Right.
and I mentioned that we are all complicit in, you know, allowing this environment where the law enforcement can gun down unarmed black men and women now, and we keep talking about these policies and procedures. We keep talking about, the council person said that when we have something on the docket or on the agenda, it's not enough black people there. And she mentioned, this is a black woman, she mentioned out of sight, out of mind. I said, well, when it's time to collect taxes, then how about being out of sight, out of mind? You work for me whether I'm there or not. I said, I understand what your position, but don't bring that to the table as if you're not going to work because there's only 10 people down there. No, but you still collect taxes every year. So to be honest with you, I don't know how to fix it other than if we can fix the problems, then I think my face will be fixed. But I've been doing my brother's been knowing me, my older brother, and he's told me I've done a great job thus far. I've really come a long way, because I used to be the type of person that will curse you out in a heartbeat, and people be grabbing on me, holding me back. I hope I'm not Catholic, but I had to do one of them crosses real quick and sprinkle some water on me. But I hope that I am. But I don't know, sister. I just think that, and I'll say this, in a professional environment, it has its place. But in environments like that, we need to see more black men that are outright, you know, angry and not willing to just hear any kind of warmed over BS and accept it. But I do know that in a professional environment that we have to rise above emotions into the thinking of the Most High so that we can get some things accomplished. And maybe that's why it's very difficult, the darker you are, the bigger you are, to get employment or to not intimidate, you know, individuals. When they see a Mike Brown walking down the street, you know, you hear this officer referring to him as it kept coming at me, because he sees something different than what we see. We see a young man, a little boy, a baby still, that can still be led by the hand, even though he's tall and he's big, but we see something different. And so I'll take that point and I'll work on it. I'll jot that down and say, work on your face, work on your mannerism. Don't roll your shoulders too far back. But it's real. Yeah, it's real.
And at times it is needed, but yeah, sometimes, yes. George said, hold on, I got this one.
Yeah, so I was always told, you know, growing up, I'm 30 years old now, but I was always told growing up by my granddad, he told me that whoever controls your emotion controls you. Yes. You know, and you don't want to be a slave to your emotions. You know, that's so true. I have learned to kind of steer my emotion in a positive direction, like what we're doing right now. You know, 10,000 Fearless. Right. You know, like other things. There are other ways you can control your emotions. You know, and still not be, you know, afraid to challenge the situation. You know, like that's when I started boxing. You know, there you go. Like I'm a boxer and stuff. But that's when I started doing that. You know, so I steered that emotion into a positive direction and started doing that. You know, then I said, okay, I can help other people out in the, you know, to relieve their stress, to do other things. So I started reaching out to the younger generation. Like, hey man, if you have a problem with somebody, there's this way you can fix it like this. You can fix it like that. So like, squash the beef, squash the conflict resolution that we doing. There's another great way to, you know, to kind of steer your emotion away from the situation and also fix it. You know, so I think these are great ideas. We have a lot of great minds in the community in this room. you know, just working with each other, you know, working with everybody, we can help not just the Liberian community in Killeen or Austin, Houston, but we have a lot of like great people out here from African descent that we can bring, you know, to the organization, to this group that can help, you know, mold the minds of our young generation, you know, because like brother Robert was saying earlier, when the older generation leave, who's gonna take over? You know, you want to mold the minds of the younger generation that where when we leave, you know, we have somebody, you know, taking over, and they're taking over doing the right thing, not just old school gone, now new school, we taking over, and we are here to do it our way. You know, you want to do it the right way, you know.
Darryl, I think you got a new partner. Darryl, I think you got a new partner over there. Darryl, you think so? You got a new partner?
I'm learning from him.
I just want to say this. It's just an example. I was sitting somewhere and this lady called me and said, "Look, my friend is on the internet saying crap about me. I'm gonna go, you know, want to go fight her."
Right.
And I told her, like, "What are you doing now?" She said, "Sitting in the house." And I said, "Where are your kids?" She got a boy and a girl. I said, "Take them to the park and go there and see if your emotion will still be like that, you know." And she went to the park with the kids and they had fun. And at the end of the day, she called me and she said, "You know what? You ready did something, because I thought I was gonna go to prison because I was ready to go fight."
Right.
You see, but when I took the kids to the park, we started talking, and I met another friend, and we started a conversation, and I was feeling good. So you see, there's so many ways that you can diffuse things. I see people encourage people to go. If this person says something about you, to say, "Girl, go knock her out," or "Go do this." You know, that's the wrong mentality.
Right.
You always have to deal with that person in front of you. Let the person know that they are way better than that situation. They are above that idea, you know. Think about positive thing. And that's why I like. You think that's why I like. All right, I just want to throw that in.
That's good. Yes.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Just thinking about what you were saying, you know, especially for Killeen, myself, I'm a person that, like I said, I was a part of a lot of the trouble around Killeen, and I use my following and I use my personal experiences I do a little I don't know if any of y'all got Snapchat. I got a little Snapchat. I'm trying to build my following up on there, and what I do is a little show called Gimme Game, and what I do is I talk about different perspectives of life that may have growth and development in it. Yesterday my topic was, what's your why? Why do you do the things it is that you do? So the people who that follow me on my Facebook, I'm probably 4,000 or 5,000 people, my Instagram, different things like that. So they love to hear me talk like that, because a couple of years ago I had all gold teeth in my mouth. You know, I was smoking all on my Instagram, all on my Facebook and stuff like that. I wasn't in school. I wasn't doing anything with myself. So now people seeing me from selling drugs in high school, in the basketball stands. Now they seeing me learning how to tie my tie and to tuck my shirt in and things like that. So I use my personal experiences to speak to them, just like you saying, going out to the juvenile detention center, talking to them. So for myself, I didn't have a man in front of me, honestly, to emulate those things for me to be able to see it. So if those things like me not showing my emotion, those are things that are going to have to come from me seeing a bold man in front of me, you know? Yeah. So for myself, I seen those type of things in the Minister Louis Farrakhan, you know, on the planet, alive at that moment. And I went searching around, looking around, and I bumped into Minister Robert. So I actually began to see that human being move around and, you know, not be shaken by so many different things, and be able to learn and grow from those experiences. So, you know, for myself, molding myself into the young man that I'm trying to grow into from the experiences that I have, and using different outlets like my social media and my network to do little snippets for Gimme Game and things like that, going out to the high schools, going out to the juvenile detention center and being real. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to tell the story that I have. I have a brother that's been in prison for murder, another brother in prison for drug trafficking. You know, a lot of things changed for me when I had my boys in the midst of those things, you know, as well as me being involved in the streets. I've been to jail a few times, so I'm able to give those experiences and say, hey, but I'm also able to work in the educational field. So if I was smart enough to do that and I can say this legally in front of you, apparently I can make a way and you can come right through the door. So you don't have to be discouraged about who you were and not go to school or not do what it is that you're supposed to do, because I've already trailblazed that way to say that you can do it. So that's how I use Darryl, you know. And I think it's becoming a great asset for Killeen, and I continue to reach out and work with different organizations, as well as wherever Miss Phyllis leads me. You know, wherever Miss Phyllis leads me, wherever she leads anybody, you know, I just grab on her hold. So I definitely love to continue to work with you guys. I mean, you guys sound like you got some good structure and things like that going on. So let's move forward.
Okay. All right, it's time to cut my show a little short here. But you know what? This was a summit.
That's good.
Yes.
This wasn't a just talk show. This was a summit, because the one thing we've all sat here and talked about is reasons to stop what's going on.
Most definitely.
We've all talked about ways that we've all been using to stop things from happening, to, you know, curtail the violence, to shut down that I'm going to whoop her, I'm going to whoop him, which means is that we're ready now to unite and become a force.
And what I do is, when I see those things on Facebook, I do post the Squash the Beef hotline in the middle of a beef, in the middle of a live stream. I will post that. So yeah, if I see you arguing with somebody, I will kind of kill the vibe and throw that in there. And I got a couple of people that do that with me as well. So yeah, throw something back on your conscience.
Okay, so I like throwing out challenges. I really do. So I'm gonna challenge this group right here. These 5 men, excuse me, who are right here right now, need to host together a meeting. Because we're used to seeing us, but now we have another family member.
Definitely.
You know, and to what you don't understand is what will be is that we're not only uniting just us. We're letting everybody know we're still us.
Definitely. But
we're growing.
Definitely. Our
dialects might be different.
Definitely.
But the mentality and the struggle and where we want to go is all the same.
Most definitely.
The fear people have, and Mr. Robert Muhammad can attest to that. I got a few seconds left. Is that the fear is that we're all going to unite.
That's right.
You know, that's the fear. The fear is that we're all going to unite. The fear is that the dialects, we still speak English regardless. I might have to listen a little more to what he's saying, but I got it. The fear is that we're all going to unite. Right. So when people see us all together, it's going to wait a minute, hold up, stop, wait, hold up. How did they and this one get together? Don't worry about how we got together. What you need to understand is that we are. That's right. So you all need to come together again at a certain time real soon and let everybody see you walk down the way together. Yes. Because quickly, I'm going to say this. Last summer, when I met Minister Robert Muhammad, I needed him to come to an event. And they walked spread out down the middle of the park. Your little boys was like, who are those men in suits? You had some teenage boys. Who are they with suits? So you had some fathers who had to start explaining real fast who these men were and why were they wearing suits. So some education started real quick. Real fast. It was some quick education to see that these men walking in a line, walking down the middle of the park at an event, had on suits. So kids were asking questions. You had teenagers asking questions. You had women asking questions. You know, and then when I went up and greeted you, they felt, how do you know all these people? Because I know my community. I step out to find out who my community is. And to me, I think my task is to unite everybody. So we need to learn and we need to keep doing that. So I'm glad everybody came this morning and educated and brought together. Now we all see, even though we've been separate, we still have one mind and one goal. So I want to thank everyone for listening to KISS Community Connections this morning, 103.1. We had a summit. We solved some issues, exchanged numbers, and we are working together. Darryl found a new young partner, and Killeen with him, and Minister Robert Muhammad has 2 more family members. He need to go meet the Austin half. He got the Killeen half. So we all have a job to do, and we're proud to do it. And once again, I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.